The story begins where we see countless black vortex-like anomalies begin to envelop the planet, all part of a doomsday clock titled Project Sundeath, which was revealed to be the life's work of a mysterious being who revels in the beauty of this darkness. Meanwhile on Earth, we see the effects of this project firsthand, as the Avengers respond to the body of the villain Blackout, whose body had erupted and was enveloped by the power of the Dark Dimension, sending its power into the atmosphere. As Iron Man took to the skies to see how bad things were, Scarlet Witch would investigate the body and was able to deduce that all Dark Force users had somehow been overtaken, and their bodies themselves had become portals to the Dark World. As Tony completed his analysis, he asked Wanda if she could close these portals with her magic, where she snidely remarked that it would probably be easier to punch Galactus in the face. Hey man, just saying, on the Marvel Zombies dimension, they were able to forge through a pile of scraps and build a big laser gun that took down Galactus, where they proceeded to eat him. Nothing is impossible. Apologizing as he was really hoping they could magic this whole thing away, Tony regretfully informed Wanda that due to this rapidly spreading darkness, they had officially lost the sun. As Moon Knight and Tigra investigated the body of another Dark Force user who suffered a similar fate, they all soon realized this was no mere accident, but rather an invasion. We then see countless armies of vampires emerge from the portals, where they set their sights on the horrified humans below, ready to pounce on their latest meal. Fully empowered by the darkness that blocked out the sun, the monsters would begin to rapidly feed on the Earth's population, leaving hundreds, if not thousands, drained of their plasma within minutes. In a remote part of the world, we see two men flee for their lives as a pair of vampires relentlessly pursued them. Making their way to what appeared to be a military base, the men thought they were done for. That is until the bloodsuckers went across the facility's mystic barrier line, where they were instantly caught aflame and died on the scene. This awesome assault would be the work of Dr. Doom, as we see that the invasion had even reached the land of Latveria, where he welcomed his people and promised to protect them. Man, no matter what the apocalypse, you can always count on this dude to be the Chad of each one. Back in New York, we would see the invasion continue to spread there as well, where we see Miles Morales, armed with a sick new energy sword, where he pierced one of the monsters through the heart, where it burst into flames. With his spider sense alerting him of another presence, we see the OG vampire hunter Blade himself emerge from the shadows, where he told Miles that things were bad, but just like always, he had a plan, and had something that he needed Spider-Man to do. We are then taken to the Avengers as they battled the beast in the streets, where they are quickly overrun and question just who could have organized such a calculated attack in seemingly a very short amount of time. Just then their comms were interrupted by the Chad man with a plan Blade, who too was on the run and told the heroes that he had information and was sending the coordinates for them all to meet at the Impossible City so they could discuss strategies on how to fix things. Now, I've not read too much on modern Marvel comics lately, but I had to look up what the Impossible City was, and TLDR, it's a giant floating robot city that's alive. Man, comics are great. Meeting up with Iron Man aboard the city, the Avengers told Eric to make this quick, as there were countless people below who needed their help. Just then, we would see the portal open up again, where Blade's truck would emerge. The heroes would then approach the vehicle and ask just what the heck was going on, where out of nowhere, a deafening piercing sound would ring through the air, causing all of them to keel over in pain. We would then hear a voice announcing that Blade could not make it to the party, where out of the vehicle stepped out the most Elden Ring, Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid bosses I've ever seen, who revealed themselves to be called the Blood Coven. While the gang of villains may have looked more like Zack Snyder's Justice League than Zack Snyder's actual Justice League, the villains proved to be more than a match for the Avengers, as the likes of Unusual was able to instantly bring Scarlet Witch to her knees, and Damascene proved how much of a threat he was by being able to slice through the flesh of both Thor and Vision. As Iron Man went in to save his friends, he too was soon taken out by Krull, who was able to use his metallic vine-like abilities to rip right into his suit and send him hurtling to the ground as they tore closer and closer into his flesh. Not even Captain Marvel was safe, as the spider-like being Megrim was able to take the powerhouse out instantly. Hey bro, nobody does that to my fictional queen. As the heroes were viciously torn apart, the heavily wounded Thor still proudly stood against the vampires, telling them that they may cut him, but they could never turn him or even kill him. Laughing at Odin's son's bravery, they then retorted, saying that killing them would actually be a waste. In a shocking turn of events, Damascene would instantly throw one of his blades through Thor's head, seemingly killing him, all while saying that they wanted to keep him. With the Avengers being taken out one by one, T'Challa called for the Impossible City to change dimensions, only for the command not to take effect, for it, just like Tony's suit, had now been infected by Krull's vines. However, the mighty Wakandan king still had a trick up his sleeve where he ordered the city to deploy emergency evacs for the heroes left, a protocol he had secretly implemented some time ago. Wanting to give his friends time to get away, T'Challa lunged at the monsters, only for the Avengers to witness the man get his heart torn out as they teleported to safety. Angered that the majority of his prizes got away, the Coven's leader clutched the body of the slain king, where he let out a sickening, blood-curdling scream. Later that night, we would be taken to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where we would see Doctor Strange and his wife Clea hard at work as they researched a way to end this invasion, where Stephen proposed using the Montes formula, which would kill every vampire on Earth. This plan would be overheard by Blade, who made his way into the library and chimed in, saying that such a spell would require the Darkhold, and that was kind of recently eaten by Scarlet Witch, who, as we know, just got her butt kicked and was sent off to parts unknown. Delighted to see his old friend, Stephen asked Eric just what was going on, where he revealed that this indeed was a vampire uprising. However, this was unlike anything they had seen before. This group was a structured cult called the Structure. They were quickly spreading all across the world until Moon Knight had killed their original leader. However, they found a new one with a plan. This plan would be to use rituals to turn Dark Force users into the energy waves which blocked out the sun, send hordes of undead on massive population centers across the globe, and thirdly, take out the Avengers. With Strange and Clea thinking this plan was insane, Blade told the couple that this Blood Coven was a match for the Avengers and knew that they had already been destroyed. Dismayed to hear about the loss of his allies, Stephen then decided that it was more important than ever to enact the Monte formula and rid the world of vampires once and for all. Surprised at his resolve, Blade asked Strange if he could really go through with killing every vampire in the world, for some of them were on their side. Stephen then replied by saying that at the end of the day, he was still a doctor, and that if he must cut the limb of a patient to save it, he would do it. Blade, being proud to have found someone as dark-hearted as him, was glad to hear this, as someone like Wanda could never bring herself to something as violent as genocide. As Stephen went to his studies on the spell, he asked Blade just who this new vampiric leader was, and asked if it was Dracula, where Eric denied. Blade then asked the man if he really wanted to know who is truly behind these world-ending events, where completely out of nowhere, he pierced Doctor Strange through the heart with his sword, revealing that it had been him all along.